Good evening and welcome to the Throgmorton Bowl in the GFL. My name is Reed Option, and here are our two championship teams, the Honolulu Waves and the Montreal Moose. So let's see what the experts have to say about this matchup. All four analysts say Montreal Moose in a close one, but the next-gen analytics have Montreal at only a 54% chance. So though they have been dominant all season, they still leave some room for the Waves to win. The last time these two teams faced off, Montreal being an expansion team, this is the only time they faced off, was week 3 of this season, where Montreal bested the Waves 20-7. Now both of these teams look a little different since then. And here in New York, snowing with heavy wind, I think that we're going to have a little bit of a different matchup. Messina taking the kickoff out. Messina now having the most receiving yards in GFL history, with prospect quarterback General Cornwall under center, handing it off to Tyshawn Ware. Honolulu has been stripped of many of their players, getting poached to the NAGA, which is the purpose of this league. But for championship purposes, you got to feel bad for the Honolulu Waves. Second play of the game. Cornwall attempts to find Kyle Plummer. Most receiving yards of any tight end this season. Incomplete, and that third down attempt will also be incomplete, which will bring out the punting unit in Taylor Westfall. Westfall uniquely sporting the number 71. And that'll be fielded by Russell Lambert as MVP candidate, Offensive Player of the Year candidate Daniel Blake takes the field. Blake has had a killer season. One of the best quarterbacks in the league. 1,610 passing yards, 12 touchdowns, and only 1 interception, with the best quarterback rating in the league this season. It is no surprise why he led the Montreal Moose to get where they are. Speaking of leading the Moose, most rushing yards in NAGA history, most rushing yards this season with 669 yards. Running back Adrian Brown, who was taken from the Carolina Hawks early last season. Looks like McBrayer had that rush, fumbled it, and Ellis recovered, saving the drive there. But Brown being allowed to play this whole season. He's really been able to flourish in the GFL. Blake with plenty of time in the pocket, second and long, incomplete. Out to the sideline. Nice zone coverage from this Honolulu defense. Deep down the middle, and that is Ja'Cory Totten. First completion of the day for Daniel Blake. 2 tight end sets, and it'll be a handoff to Brown, who will be stopped for a loss. And that is another prospect, Key Hens. 2 late season prospect additions, General Cornwall and Key Hens, opposite sides of the ball, making major plays for this Waves team. Another late season acquisition, speaking of, that is Dion Creighton. He's been passed from NAGA team to NAGA team. And also GFL team to GFL team. Creighton had been on the Cougars long ago. But enough about Creighton. McBrayer coming up with the first touchdown of the game. Tyshawn McBrayer, the former Richmond Rocket, putting up some points in this championship game. McBrayer has been on the Moose his entire GFL run. Creighton, like I had said, been on Salt Lake City, and also been on the Boston Brawlers. I'm sure he's liking this team a lot more. I know Boston has had a couple management changes. If you've been missing out on any GFL or NAGA news, you should join the Discord server. There are some media rooms where things get announced, things happen. Yes, there is indeed a coaching carousel, both with, I guess you could say, in-game players and in, management by users. Great first down there by Tyshawn Ware as James Summerfield works his way into the game. Incomplete, intended for Summerfield. Summerfield, I believe formerly on the Montgomery Guardians. And that first down was to Kevin Snow, one of the dynamic duos, this tight end duo here in Honolulu. Plummer and Snow. Hand off to Adrian Austin for a 1-yard gain, the fullback. Preceded by another handoff to Ware, and Kareem Waters scoops it up. Both offensive fronts accounting for their running backs' mishaps. And both teams are bringing their all to this championship game. Summerfield, gain of 7. Yes, Summerfield, former Montgomery Guardian, just confirmed that. He has never been to a championship game, and he's trying to leave his mark here today. Tyshawn Ware weaving his way through the defense. Gain of 8 and a first down, moving the chains at the beginning of this second quarter. Montreal currently up by a touchdown. These games are quick, high action, fast paced. Anything can happen in a moment's notice. Gain of 20 there. Cornwall connects with his receiver. 2 completions, and Summerfield stiff-arming a man but can't get out of the backfield. That is Fielder with the stop. Miles Fielder. Great job there. The pitch to Crooks, and Jermaine Crooks will be the first one to score for the Waves. That was not on my bingo card. Crooks. Not a lot of records on this kid. 29 years old, no NAGA transactions. Looks like he's just never had his opportunity in the league. Jermaine Crooks. Who'da thunk? To respond, Montreal. 9-yard gain here. It was pointed out to me that here in this second Throgmorton Bowl, neither of these two teams hail from places within the continental United States. Which is true. Honolulu, Hawaii is an island, and Montreal is in old Canada, eh? Best Canadian team, don't at me. We might have a little scrimmage between Montreal and Vancouver to see who's really the best. First down there, courtesy of Daniel Blake. 4 for 6 now. Not looking too shabby. 75 yards. Speaking of not too shabby, this defensive line is not letting up. McSwain. Tackle for loss on the formidable Adrian Brown. McBrayer subbed in. Little 3-yard gain. We're close to the 2-minute warning here. Third down territory for the Moose. Brown stretching. Will they give it to him? They won't. 4th and 1, and they will bring out the kicking team. And that 42-yarder is good. Juan Montemayor. Montemayor having the all-time field goals made record in the regular season. 20 field goals made. Cornwall looking for a first down there. Just incomplete, broken up, intended for Plummer. Always targeting his tight ends. He's got a great receiving core here with Messina, Wooten. Speaking of, there's Messina. Like I said, Messina having the most receptions and receiving yards in GFL history, including targets. 110 targets racked up between his 2 seasons. Has never been pulled up to the NAGA, but has been lighting it up here in the GFL. Shout out to a similar situation with Michael Billings, defensive end for the Arlington Raiders, who are soon to be rebranded. I will let you know more about that at halftime. Messina getting the first down. A minute to go. Honolulu trying to make something of this drive. Incomplete. That one intended for Waters. Cornwall, 4 of 11. And it's just getting worse. 3rd and 10 now. Looks like they might stall out here around midfield. Tyshawn Ware going to try to chew up some clock. Westfall coming back out for the punt, and that is way in the back of the end zone. I haven't commentated a GFL game all season. I am the commissioner of this league. All the behind-the-scenes work is yours truly. I've just been busy. Haven't been able to really get a quiet moment here. So my apologies for all of you who have missed my voice. I guarantee you my dedication to the league is not represented by the amount of times you hear my voice, but a lot of info bombs being dropped on you, given I only have a limited amount of time to speak. That was Horn with a big catch. Horn, the former Carolina Hawk, another team that will be rebranded. Huge play there for the Moose. Moose have quite the team here. Both of these teams truly are the best in the league. And that 3rd down stop might close us out. Marcus Lovelace only getting to the 19 with 1 second to go. I'd just hand it off if I were them. Cornwall dropping back, looking deep, incomplete. And that'll wrap up the half, 10-7. Like I was saying, there's some news for next season. There's going to be some changes. This past season, we added the Vegas Vultures and the Montreal Moose, as well as changing up the camera angle in which you are viewing this game. We always like to experiment, given the GFL is an experimental league for the NAGA. We might change the rollouts to Mondays for these games. We will see whether or not we decide to do that. And the 2 relocations that will happen, the Arlington Raiders are being moved to Tacoma to become the Thrashers. Excited for that rebrand. And the Carolina Hawks are being moved to Savannah to become the Savannah Pandas. Really cute. Digging the concepts so far that we've come up with for the Savannah Pandas. And surely those 2 teams, speaking of interesting stat here, Arlington and Carolina, the only 2 teams to make both GFL championship games, conference championship games, and to lose both conference championship games. And if memory serves me correctly, last winner beat Arlington. They hailed from the West, or the West. Oakland won it all. So Honolulu is favored in my books because of that little quirky stat there. But Montreal really chewing up a lot of clock and moving the ball down the field this drive, making sure that I eat my words. Speaking of Toledo, loser in last year's GFL Throgmorton Bowl, it will be renamed to the Grey Wolves, Toledo Grey Wolves, given the nomenclature of the Grey Wolf in Ohio. Montgomery Guardians, they'll be changed to the Crusaders, given the nature of their logo and the uniqueness of their name, trying to make the GFL a more unique, more diverse place. Arlington was chosen and Carolina was chosen, both of those for numerous reasons involving other professional teams with their names, etc., etc. So just know everything here is made to, all decisions made are to make this league more fun, more unique, and more competitive. So if you want to keep up with all the news, oh my goodness, let me stop for a second there. Dion Creighton spent most of the season on the Brawlers in misery. Brawlers having only like 3 wins on their team's history. Their final game being a win thanks to Coach Rob DeBenedictis. But Creighton stepping up for the Montreal Moose and potentially putting a nail in the coffin for the Honolulu Waves. I mean, we're up 2 scores now. Montreal over the Waves. And, given that it's a snowy game, Montreal is used to the cold. It's a nice chill evening here in New York. Shout out to New York for allowing us to use their stadium. This is a Axis football stadium that we do not utilize in either leagues. And Jaheim Knowles jumps up for the pick. And that might be the final nail in the coffin. Knowles, Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Wow. What a play. What a heads-up interception by Knowles. And the Moose may have just run away with this game. Blake, play action. Screen pass to Horn. And I tell you what, Montreal, first season in the league, they've really made a name for themselves. They've become a fan favorite, given their uniforms, given their logo, which was made by our resident uniform and logo creator, Dino. Shout out to Dino. I'm sure he takes commissions. McBrayer, touchdown. And Montreal, they're already popping champagne up in the booths. Ownership is beyond happy. Head coach Rich Neubert, former NAGA punter for Vancouver, staying in Canada and getting the championship dub for Montreal. Honolulu being led by Mike Joyce. Mike Joyce has had a great career as a coach. Honolulu last season wound up positive, though missing the playoffs. 4-3 this season, of course, winding up 6-3, top of the West. Speaking of top of their game, Jameer Wooten, former San Antonio Fighter, coming up with a 42-yard gain. Cornwall out to his right, where to wrap up the third quarter, down 17. Honolulu trying to make this scoreboard look a little prettier. But this season has been nothing shy of amazing for both of these teams. I'm sure that Honolulu is really missing Obinna Benjamin right now. Tyshawn Ware having a wide open touchdown there, getting stopped short. Let's see how attempt number 2 goes. And he is in. Crowd not going wild. Crowd already high-fiving each other. Perhaps celebrating early. You never know with these games. Deaton. Extra point is good. 2 for 2 on the day with extra points. You never know with the amount of wind that we have here today. I know there's a lot of traffic in New York. A lot of traveling for the holidays. Drop in the comments what your favorite Thanksgiving food is. I'm going to go with sweet potatoes. Me personally, I'm a big sweet potato guy. I make sweet potato casserole for my family and for Friendsgiving. So hit me up if you want Read Options sweet potato casserole recipe. But a lot of traveling for the holidays, and of course football being a staple of that. A lot of traveling in and out of the stadium. Blake taking it for himself out of pistol to rush for the first down. And they are just eating up this clock, and the crowd is eating up this gameplay. Just one handoff at a time. Adrian Brown getting another first down for the Moose. MVP voting and Offensive Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year voting wraps up after this game is done being aired. And I wouldn't be surprised if multiple players from this game alone wind up taking those titles. I know Brown is a big MVP favorite. And that would surely boost his chances of getting signed here in what is set to be a huge offseason for the NAGA. We have a record amount of user prospects. We have a record amount of upcoming free agents. We have a lot of changes in the works. Really exciting if you're a part of any sim league, whether in Axis or any other football game, whether you're an all-pro football 2K8 guy or you're a maximum football guy. I know that you're sure to have a good experience no matter what you're looking for here in the NAGA. Please feel free to join our Discord, link in the description. Or you can just, remain a viewer. Subscribe to the channel, click the bell, get notified every time a game premieres. See more riveting games like this. I mean, 5-minute quarters and it's 24-14. This is one of the highest scoring games in GFL history. I mean, Dakota at Toledo in week 6, 31-21. Similar score. Carolina at Oakland in week 2. We got some pretty high scoring games, but this one is up there. Huge catch by Tommy Messina, contested, and Honolulu will call their first timeout. Cornwall dropping back, looking to his left, incomplete. Not sure who that was intended for. I think Stutzman. Cornwall, a user prospect and future draftee in the upcoming draft. I know a win probably would have put his draft position a little higher. But a lot of teams are looking at these games and seeing their user prospects showcasing their abilities and potentially writing them down to be drafted. There are a couple players on every team that are user prospects. If you want to see your user prospect play before they get drafted into the NAGA, the GFL is the place to look. This is where we show those. I know there's the college showcase games that Commissioner Pasta streams before the draft each season. So you'll see them there, but if you create them early enough, you'll see them here too. 3rd and 1, and I mean, barring Honolulu getting a touchdown, getting an onside kick, getting another field goal or a touchdown, this game is all but over. Cornwall looking to the end zone on 3rd and 1. That is incomplete, and they're going to go for the field goal here, not wasting any efforts. If they miss this field goal, it's over. Deaton nails it, 33-yarder, and this is the game right here. Onside kick, 0% efficiency in Axis football right now. Hope they patch that. And that is game. Your Season 2 GFL champions, sports fans. That is the Montreal Moose. Good game. Great job on both sides as Daniel Blake takes the final kneel of the season. I'd say game MVP goes to Jaheim Knowles. Knowles did a fantastic job. Interception, 2 passes defended, and 6 tackles. Can't get much better than that. Quarterback play all around was okay. Blake did a good job. Cornwall, a little bit too much passing in my opinion, but they were playing from behind. So what else can you do? Really forces you into a corner. Running game wasn't shabby, Crooks with the touchdown. Great job, Jermaine Crooks. Obviously, on the receiving side of things, you had a nice share of the ball between Wooten and Messina. No catching touchdowns. A lot of targets all around that were just locked down by the defense. Kemp led the tackles. Barnwell and Morton with the sacks. No interceptions. Chase Murray, Keehens, Bullock, and McSwain with the tackles for loss. McLemore, the only defended pass, shows how great Daniel Blake is. 1 forced fumble by Kemp. No recoveries on the defensive side. And, of course, you have Messina with 5 kick returns and Lovelace with 2 punt returns. Deaton pretty efficient. Same for Westfall. Let's look at over here. 120 quarterback rating. your potential MVP of the regular season, Adrian Brown. No touchdowns. McBrayer being the touchdown vulture there. Creighton, 46 yards and a touchdown, the only receiving touchdown of the day. Great job there. Not a lot of people targeted. A lot of favorites being played by Daniel Blake. There's Knowles, my MVP of the game. 6 tackles, second best tackles, most interceptions. Only 1 tackle for loss, and that was Fielder. 2 defended passes. Tied, Badmus. That is a user prospect there on the Moose. The only user prospect on the Moose. First user prospect to take home a GFL championship trophy. Forced fumble by Lambert. No recoveries there. And there you have the return stats. Even Knowles got the onside kick. There you go. And Montemayor and Fredrickson. And then let's look at the game stats. Thank you all for tuning in. It has been a wonderful season for the GFL. Looking forward to seeing you guys next season. We'll see how many games I commentate next season for the GFL. Hell, I've only commentated 1 for the NAGA this past season. So regardless, I'll always be involved. You can always count on me to be in the Discord, helping you out, being super involved in the media. But until then, thank you for tuning in this season to the GFL. My name is Reed Option, and I will see you next time. Take care.